Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori and this video is going to be about listening to our guidance, listening to the messages that are continuing to flood into us on a regular basis more and more. Every time I do a video, it's always guided by these beautiful beings that I work with, the star beings. And so they've been telling me for the last, I don't know, maybe a week and a half that I need to share about guidance and humans listening to their guidance. How do they listen to their guidance? Why they aren't listening to their guidance? And kind of dissecting it, pulling it apart a little bit today. So since I'm going to be listening to my guidance, I finally sat down and did this video. So what do I mean when I say listening to your guidance? I think a lot of you already know what that means, but as we are shifting and as we are ascending into higher frequencies, light within our body, what's happening is that we are starting to, maybe this is conscious, maybe this is unconscious, but what's happening is we are starting to tap into other guidance both outside of ourselves and inside of ourselves. So our intuition is getting stronger. The higher self is getting louder. The guides that are around you, you're starting to hear. So we're tapping into energies that are not just the ego and the mind any longer, okay? We're recognizing that we are not alone on this earth plane and that there are many, many, many different types of light beings, spirits, souls, lights that are participating in this collective shift with us and here to assist us. So when we receive guidance, we could receive it from many different places. One of the most common places where we receive guidance is inside ourselves, so our intuition, okay, which is a bodily kind of a physical feeling. So your intuition, I did a video on the difference between intuition and higher self, but I'll say it again. And this is just my experience, what I've experienced in my own life, and that's all I ever talk about. Intuition is a feeling, it's a gut instinct. It's that piece of you that says, ooh, that doesn't feel right. Or, ooh, that feels right. That feels good. That feels like the right way to go. It's in the physical body. You feel it. It's that gut feeling, right? So when somebody asks you to do something, you'll hear a voice come in that says you don't want to do that. You're not comfortable doing that, right? So that's the higher self. And then the intuition will tell you intuitively with this gut feeling, ooh, that doesn't feel right. I don't think I should do that. A lot of times intuition is kind of when you're out and about, you will kind of start to feel like, ooh, something doesn't feel right. I think I should get in my car and go somewhere, or get in my car and drive home. Or I think I need to call this person, but something's intuitively telling me to call this person. So it's a feeling. It's just this intuitive gut feeling inside of you. Higher self is a voice. The higher self is an aspect of yourself. It's an aspect of your light, and it's becoming louder and louder for most of us. And the higher self is a very direct voice that just is kind of in your head. Most of these voices, most of this guidance sounds like, in my experience, voices in your head, okay? So, but you can, when you start to listen to it more and more, you start to pick up the different frequencies of that energy. You'll start to feel the energy of the message coming in, and you'll start to understand the different energies. And that's how you decipher between where the message is coming from. So the higher self it's almost like it's inside, it's internal, so it's coming from within you. And it's like a best friend talking to you. It'll be this voice that says, hey, you should really go and buy this juice. Hey, you need to go and take a trip to this city. You need to start thinking about leaving your job. Hey, you need to leave this situation. It's not good for you. You'll be driving and all of a sudden something will tell you, hey, you need to pull over and go to that bookstore. An example for me yesterday, I was at the Mineral Springs. And I listen to my higher self so regularly now that I don't ever question when that voice comes in. I just follow it. But this is a good example. This is a funny example. So I was at the Mineral Springs, and when you're at the Mineral Springs, you can either buy a bath, or you can do the mineral bath, or you can just do a sauna. And most of the times, I always just do a sauna. But I haven't been feeling very good lately. So when I went in, I said, I'd like a bath. And then she said, okay, $36. And I said, oh, no, I don't want a bath. I want a mineral. I just want the sauna. I don't want a bath. And then I paid for it. It was only $18, right? And then as I was walking away, I was like, wait a second. I think I'm supposed to get a bath. I think that was my higher self telling me through my voice, you need a bath. So I said, let me hold on a second. Let me just walk into the bath, to the back and see what it feels like. I was telling the lady this. And so I go in and I talk to the attendant and I said, I think I'm supposed to get a bath today. And she's like, the waters are really potent. And I said, okay. So I go back out and I said, obviously my higher self was in charge and I wasn't listening to her. I'd like a bath. And so the bath became this really potent experience and I really, really needed it. Now, if I didn't listen to that voice, right, I would have had the sauna. It would have been an okay experience, but it wasn't what I needed. And so these are the little messages that come through that we need to start listening to more and more and more. Because what's happening to us is as we are ascending, as we are shifting into higher frequencies, we, meaning our ego and our mind, are not in control. They do not have our highest good in their hands. So the ego has been designed since the get-go, since you came into physical form, to protect you, to keep you safe, to make sure that, that your world is in your control and that you have an understanding and that it's all kind of in this beautiful picture and you can walk around your world with this sense of control, with this sense of understanding and making it all make sense, right? But what's happening is we're being asked and we are being required to begin to listen to the other aspects of ourselves that are shifting us into higher frequencies. And so what this means is that we don't have control any longer all the time. That these voices that are coming in are asking us to do things that don't make sense to us. They're asking us to move into other areas of our life that we're not comfortable with. Because what happens when we start listening to the guidance is they don't tell you guidance and then say, hey, this is what it's going to look like when you follow the guidance. Okay? You just hear the guidance and you have to trust and have faith and a knowingness that by listening to this guidance, miracles and amazing things will happen. It's pushing you towards you becoming your next highest version of yourself. It's pushing you towards your purpose work. It's pushing you towards your divinity. It's pushing you closer to the connection with your star beings, the connection with your higher self, a more presence in your everyday life. So we have to let go of control. If I had stayed in control, I would have said, no, I'm supposed to be doing a bath or a sauna. And I came here to do the sauna. And so I'm going to do a sauna. I don't know what that voice was. Well, that was my higher self saying, actually, Laura, you need to do a bath. And it came out as a bath. And so I followed that instead of saying to myself, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to do a bath? I knew I was coming here. So that's what happens, right? We start to talk ourselves out of the guidance that we're given. We talk ourselves out of the guidance that we hear over and over and over again. And if you're lucky, the more you ignore it, the more it will come through. For instance, I didn't want to do this video and I had resistance to doing this video. I have resistance to doing a lot of my videos. But they being the star beings, won't let go. They'll keep pushing. And what that means is I'll keep hearing it. Do the video. Hey, you forgot you haven't done the video yet. Hey, you need to do the video, right? So that's the guidance. And what happens all the time for us is we ignore it or we talk ourselves out of it. And the way we are going to be when we start shifting into what so many of us are calling this new earth, which we're not even close to. We can't even listen to our own guidance yet. So we are very far from stepping into this new earth paradigm. However, we are moving very, very slowly in a very cute human way towards this new way of being. But when you are in this new area of being, it is very present moment, and it is the second you hear a guidance, the second you hear something coming in, you just do it. You follow it. You don't think about it. You don't try to make sense of it. You understand that this is not going to come with step-by-step procedures. This isn't going to come with a picture of the outcome. So you're not going to know what the outcome is, okay? It's not going to come with this really comfortable feeling around it, okay? It's going to come with this unknowingness and this kind of faith. You just have to trust. And the guidance is there's such a gamut in terms of our guidance, right? So I gave an example yesterday of my higher self. A lot of times I get guidance from star beings. The guidance from star beings is similar to a higher self feeling, except that it isn't all the time. So my higher self is talking to me all the time. I'm hearing my higher self throughout the day. It's a constant sort of voice that comes in to tell me. It told me yesterday to get chlorophyll. Go to the store and pick up. Actually, it didn't say chlorophyll. It said go to the store and we're going to tell you what to get. And so I went to the store and my higher self said, look around these shelves. And so I looked around the shelves and you'll feel intuitively what is you need to pick. And so I looked and I saw chlorophyll and I intuitively felt, oh my God, that's what I need. And she said, yes, that's it. And so I took chlorophyll and brought it home. I didn't think about chlorophyll. I didn't think, what does it mean? How much is it? I just heard, I felt, and I did it. Now, star beings are different. Star beings are off and on, right? So maybe there'll be a whole entire day where I won't hear the star beings. How do I know it's a star being? Because it energetically feels a little bit different. It feels a little bit more, it's almost like it's a little bit quieter, a little bit harder to kind of understand in the beginning, so softer, but it still is in my head. So it's not like you're hearing a voice outside of you coming in, okay? It's you kind of having a conversation with yourself. So it literally might feel like you're crazy. And the more you start to talk to these beings, the more it becomes a conversation in your head. And it's the same thing with your higher self. But again, the higher self feels more like this constant sort of voice that's coming and going, whereas the star beings will all of a sudden pop in and you're like, where'd that come from? Like all of a sudden it'll be like a random thought will come in, a random message will come in a random time, and it'll feel energetically just a tad bit different than your higher self. And this is practice. So this is what it means to ascend. This is ascension right here. Learning how to listen to guidance, learning how different beings communicate with you, taking it seriously and doing it. So one of the things, I'll give you an example of how the star beings communicate with me. A lot of the times they'll communicate with me in the shower. I don't know why. And what it'll sound like is like, it'll be like this voice that will come in, it'll say, you need to go to Santa Fe. And then that's it, Santa Fe, New Mexico. And it's just sort of like, and then it kind of just leaves. So it just drops this in me, right? And so I sit with it for a little bit and I'm like, Santa Fe, New Mexico, why the freak would I go to Santa Fe, New Mexico? And then 3 or 4 days later, a client, so how they work with you is they'll drop hints, okay? So they'll drop a message in, guidance, and then they're gonna drop hints throughout the next couple of weeks, right? So a couple days later, I had a client that was talking about New Mexico and, oh my God, you would love New Mexico. Ding, ding, ding. That's one of my little like, hey, don't forget you need to go to New Mexico, right? The next couple days later, I'll see a post on Instagram and it's a picture of somebody in New Mexico. Ding, 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 ding. Don't forget you need to go to New Mexico. Okay. But this is not something where I'm not comfortable yet just jumping in and buying a plane ticket. This took me 3 or 4 weeks to finally buy my plane ticket, but I did it without any idea of what I'm doing, because I know that if I hear the message that it's not me, it's not my ego and mind telling me to go, it's these star beings, they have something to show me. So I start looking on the internet. What are they going to show me, right? I get out of the way and I trust so deeply by what's coming in that they're going to guide me. And this takes practice. I've been doing this nonstop for a year and a half, just saying yes, yes, yes to everything that comes in. And it hasn't always been easy. But I know that no matter what, if I listen and say yes, they will show me. So that's one example. Another example is I will be walking around the mountain, or I'll be, driving in my car, and all of a sudden I'll get this piece of information from the star beings that will say, this is what you need to offer people. You need to do this. This is how many people are going to come that you need to offer it to, and this is what you're going to charge. And most of the time, I don't even know how I'm going to do it. But it drops in and I say yes, and then I create the page, sales page, and then I put it out. I don't think about it. I don't try to make sense of it. That's where we go wrong. So a lot of you right now are having major upheavals in your life, okay? I had to cut off a relationship, a very, very huge relationship in my life with a family member for a while, because it was what I needed to do. And I heard the guidance come in, and I heard the guidance come in for months that I needed to do this, but it was really challenging. And the guidance was coming in from my higher self. And eventually I did it. And you know, as you're doing it, that you're being taken care of. You know that you're not going to be given any guidance or any information that is not for your highest and best good. It's absolutely not going to happen. Now, I'll give you another example of where I listened to my higher self. I followed it. It turned out to be not what I was expecting, and the outcome was not what I was expecting, but it was amazing. A short story, I was here in Mount Shasta in August. I wanted to get out of Mount Shasta because I wanted to be around a bigger town, and I wanted to be with hot yoga studios, and I just had a lot of resistance to this way of life. So I moved to Bend, Oregon. And the second I got to Bend, Oregon, the place I moved into wasn't going to work whatsoever within the second day. I wasn't going to be able to do my work. And I was getting the guidance, you got to go back. You got to go back. You got to go back. I got the guidance, you got to go to Bend. You got to go to Bend. You got to go to Bend. Okay? I thought I was going to Bend, Oregon to create a new life. The second I got to Bend, I knew exactly why I was guided to go there. I was guided to go there so that I can understand and deeply, deeply grab hold of how important it is that I'm in Mount Shasta, how I absolutely need to be in Mount Shasta. And then when I came back to Mount Shasta 2 weeks later, they gave me a beautiful house, all by itself, very quiet, peaceful. None of this I would have dreamt of. I wouldn't have said, I'm going to Bend, Oregon so that I can get there in 2 weeks, so that I can realize that I actually need to be back in Mount Shasta so that I can have this beautiful home and start to really do my work. That's not what I was thinking. But had I not listened to my guidance, I would still be fighting the fact that I was in Mount Shasta wanting to leave. I am settled, I am here, and I'm happy. I listened to my higher self, who said, get over to Bend only so that you can listen to your guidance and get back. Okay? So the guidance isn't always going to make sense. But we absolutely, absolutely 100% need to start to listen to it and just say yes to it. So if you're getting the call that you need to leave your job, okay, don't do it until you're comfortable. Although there's going to be moments where you're not going to be comfortable and you're going to have to do it anyways, okay? There's a fine line between doing something you're not comfortable with and you're not ready to do, and doing it with some fear but knowing that you're ready. It's a fine line, but you want to be ready. You want to feel like, okay, I'm ready to do this. Otherwise, you're going to do it and then you're going to freak out and jump back to where you were. But listen to the guidance, and as the guidance is coming in, as these either it's ascended masters speak in the same sort of way that star beings speak. So it kind of comes in, and it's like you just hear it randomly out of the blue. And again, ascended masters sound like your own voice, but the beautiful thing about ascended masters is they take on more of a human aspect to them. So they have like a personality almost. So when the voice comes in, it almost has a personality to it. So with star beings, it's just energy that's coming in. And depending upon what star system is coming in, the energy feels differently, okay? But with an ascended master, its energy still coming in, but it has a little bit more of a personality. So you can feel Mother Mary coming in and speaking to you, and it feels very different than, let's say, Babaji or Sanat Kumara or Katumi or Jesus or any of those other beings. They feel very unique when they come in. Their messages are unique and different. The energy in their messages are different. So it's all about becoming aware of and really starting to be conscious of, what are you hearing? You're all hearing things. It's not made up. You're not making this up in your head, okay? You're hearing things. And everybody needs to start to listen. One of the biggest things I've been watching in the last couple of weeks with clients and friends is that they're not listening to guidance. They hear it, but they're not following it. And so a lot of times what we'll do is we'll reach out to people to get validation to clarify what we're hearing. Right? And then you pay someone, they tell you what you already know, then you feel validated, and then you do it. And that's beautiful, but that is an old paradigm. You've got to start to listen to what you're hearing and do it. Trust. It's extremely challenging and difficult in the beginning to really, really trust what you're hearing. If you're sick, if you're going through some sort of illness, this just came in. So whoever's listening to this that's going through an illness, there are potent messages coming in right now for you about what you're going to do and how you're going to heal yourself. And it's a very challenging position to be in. When you start to listen to guidance, a lot of times it's going to break molds. It's going to break realities. It's going to break old paradigms. You are going to be asked and forced to trust new ways of living, new ways of being that you're not used to. And nobody can do it for you. And nobody can tell you, yes, you're right, keep going. Yes, you're right, keep going. It's just you. It's just you. You can pay somebody to read your cards, or you can pay somebody to read your energetic field. And that's fine, because that will give you the validation. And then you'll have more faith and trust in yourself, you know. Eventually, you'll need to come back to yourself and just settle in and say, okay, it's just me and my amazing higher self, my intuition, and all of the guides and star beings that are around me, right? So let's go. Let's get going. Let's play. It's practice. It's a lot of practice, and it's not easy. Let me see what's going on. Okay, just checking the time. I always tend to just talk. So that's what I wanted to share. Start to listen. So the intuition is a gut feeling, okay? It's the yes and no. It's the that doesn't feel right, that feels right. A lot of us are prepared for are used to the intuition. Higher self, becoming very strong in all of us. Higher self is a voice that sounds just like you, that's with you throughout your day. Hey, go do that. Hey, go turn the TV on and listen to that. Hey, you need to go to the grocery store and buy that. Hey, you need to take a mineral bath instead of a sauna. Hey, you need to go travel to that town. Or hey, you need to go call this person. Hey, you need to start thinking about leaving your job. Hey, this person isn't good for you any longer. You're going to have to start to separate, right? Higher self. It's just a very direct, straightforward voice. And it's always around. And it's going to sound like your own voice. So just get used to that, because it's your higher self. And your higher self always, no matter what, has your highest and best interest at hand. Period. In the discussion, case closed. Even if you listen to her or him, end up moving to Bend, Oregon, and then having to move back. It was still for my highest and best good. And I would never do it any different. Okay? Star beings. Star beings come in randomly. Star beings have an energetic feel where it's like you're not going to see it. You're not going to necessarily feel them, but it's just going to be this piece of information that's going to come in very randomly out of the blue. Star beings are going to be very direct as well, but the star beings they're more about your path, your purpose, okay? Messages coming in about who you are, what you're here to do, your gifts. So a lot of times the star beings, if they come in and kind of start to message, guide you, push you, it's going to be getting you going. It's going to be kind of moving you forward. They're going to be the ones that are showing you more of your gifts. Like all of a sudden you're going to start to maybe be a little bit more clairsentient or clairvoyant. Maybe you're going to start to see more colors, right? And you're going to be questioning what that is. And there's going to be a piece of information that comes in that tells you what that is. That's the star beings, okay? A lot of people that are being pushed to move jobs, that's your star beings working with your highest self, pushing you. So the star beings are real and healing. A lot of healing. So if you're sick, your star being, your star family is working with you non-stop. If you're in deep, deep, deep pain and addiction and trauma, your star beings are communicating with you. They're explaining to you what this all is. They're explaining to you why this is happening, how you can move through it. Okay, so you have to start to listen. Ascended masters are just assisting on a regular basis as well. They do a lot of just basic daily messages for you about anything and everything. There's angels that are around us. The angels are very soft. The angels are they don't have a ton of messages, and there's a lot. There's individuals that channel angels, and the angels come in and they hear them and hear them and hear them. But my experience with angels is that they don't talk a lot. They don't send a lot of messages. It's an energy and a feeling you have around you, being wrapped in them, being taken care of, being held, just knowing that you're not alone, right? So they don't have a ton of. They're not super communicative. Spirits that have just passed, they're very, very loud. So if you start to hear people that have just passed, that's going to be very obvious. You're going to know that that is my grandmother, or that is my father, or that is my mother. And those people, when they come in, they're very straightforward, and they are pushing you to get going. They are kicking you in the butt. They're moving you. They're giving you a lot of force to move. So if you feel like you have individuals, family members, or friends that have just recently passed that are around you, not even just recently, but have passed and are around you, the reason they're still around in this space is to assist you in getting going. Keep going, moving, giving you the courage, giving you the confidence, giving you the power, just moving you. So that's that. It's time. It's time to start listening more and more. It's time to start saying yes, 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 yes. I'll follow, I'll follow, I'll follow. And also know that as you're being given guidance, and you're kind of settling into that guidance, right? You're going to be given clues throughout the days, whether it's a song, whether it's a person talking about it, whether it's a post you see, whether it's a YouTube channel you were drawn to, right? So what happens to the human is we're like, oh, look, there's another sign. Oh, look, there's another sign. Oh, look, there's another sign, right? And we don't do anything with it. We don't follow the initial guidance, right? So we have to start to watch the signs and say, you know what? I better do this. There is always, no matter what, something on the other side that is for your highest and best good, that is moving you closer to your divinity, that is moving you closer to who you are, that is moving you closer to your purpose work, that is moving you closer into your heart, that is moving you closer towards embodying your higher self. It's all for your highest and best good. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming in. We are not alone doing this work. We are absolutely 1000% not alone doing this work. Okay. And whether you have this belief system that it's all within you, or that there are tons of beings outside assisting, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your belief system is. As long as you understand that you're not doing this alone, we can't do this alone. We can't. This is too dense of a reality. This is too fogged up. We need assistance in letting the layers go and peeling back the layers so we can see and remember. It's all about remembering. Okay? And it gets easier and easier and easier. But as we step into these new ways of living, these new ways of being, listening to your guidance is one of the most important aspects of it, because it is going to move us. It is going to assist us. It is going to show us what's next. And that's what we're here to do. Letting go of control, staying very present, and being grateful when the messages come in. So just be open. Just start to listen. It's going to sound like your own voice. It's going to sound like your own voice, but just play with it. Start to actually do what this voice is telling you to do and see what happens. watch how easy life starts to move. Watch how easy you start to find yourself in flow. Watch how easy you start to just allow the world, the universe, energy to move you. It's just going to start to move you, right? So you're just going to kind of you're the one that has to walk. You have to take the physical action, but all this energy around you, all these beings around you and within you are moving you. It's beautiful. When it starts to happen and you start to allow it, it's beautiful. Scary in the beginning, very scary in the beginning, because we're out of control, so to speak. You have to let go of control and say, okay, I trust that there is a divine order here, and that my higher self is in charge, and that these beings have my highest good at hand, and I'm going to let it go. That's what we're walking into, loves. So I've of course gone way over, again, 30 minutes. I don't know how I talk this long. It's insane. So I'm going to go. I want to let all of you know I am doing another group guided journey into Telos. So what this is, it's going to be on Friday, April 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to put the details down below. You can also find it on my website or my Instagram account or my Facebook. You can find it all over the place. It's $49. And what it is we're all going to come together live on Zoom, and we're going to journey for 90 minutes into Telos and into the stargates. So we don't always go into Telos. We sometimes will go into other portals, star portals. But your star family will be there. The Lemurians will be there. There's a ton of ascended masters that are there. And it's a way for you to start to get used to moving into higher frequencies in a very conscious way, starting to experience your etheric body. What does it feel like to astral travel? What does it feel like to travel in your etheric body consciously, not in your dream state? So it's fun. It's us starting to understand that we're multidimensional beings and that we can move our etheric body out of the physical form and move into other dimensions and other realities. And we're going to start to do it more and more and more. And so this is an opportunity for you to join me and the Lemurians and the star beings if you feel called. Again, it's April 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific. And all the information will be down below. Email me or reach out to me if you have any questions about it. I guess that's it. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening to my videos. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe below. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. We're not doing this alone. We're all doing this together. We're all shifting, opening, and transforming together. So remember that you're not alone. I'm right there with you, moving through it at the exact same time. And I hope that you all can energetically feel whatever it is that's coming through this video to you. And that is it. All my love to you. See you next time. Bye-bye.